everybody, Mr. Yoder here. Hope y'all are doing well. Just decided to put my glasses on for this video because Miss Gebhard was telling me I look weird without my glasses. So I'm going to keep my glasses on in my videos going forward. Alright, a couple announcements before I get into our lesson for today. I'm going to try and keep this short. The last video was about 28 minutes long. I don't want to keep you guys for that long this time, so I'm going to try and keep it short. And then today's lesson is going to be about yellow journalism. So we're going to be learning about the history of that term and how it relates to fake news. Fake news is actually a term that has been in use for quite a long time. We're going to learn more about that. A couple more announcements before we jump right in. If you're watching this video, that means that you most likely have access to Google Classroom, which is great. Keep checking Google Classroom. I'm going to be making quite a few announcements on there, so keep checking it regularly. That's the best way for me to keep in touch with you. And I also want to talk about the setup. So what should it look like when you're watching this video? So a couple things you should have out in front of you while you are watching this video. So first you should have your the article. Today's article is article number 2 about yellow journalism, and then you should have those article questions out as well. I know that not everybody has a printed copy of the articles just yet, so if you don't have those just yet, please open them on a computer or a laptop, and then this video is going to be most useful to you if you are listening to it while your eyes are on the reading and the questions. So keep that in mind going forward. Also, please pause this video at any time if you feel like I've been talking too much. Just pause the video. That's the advantage of online learning, is you can just pause the video anytime, take a break, go get a glass of orange juice, and then come back, clear your head, and then watch it again when you're ready. Alright, that's just about it. Oh, one more announcement, due dates. So the first 2 article question sets are going to be due on Friday. But I also know that because some of you do not yet have the printed copies of the articles yet, I'm going to give you guys a grace period, so I'm going to push that back to Monday if you don't have the printed copies of your work package just yet. So I'm just gonna, it was originally Friday, I'm gonna push it back to Monday. Alright, that's it, so let's go ahead and jump right in. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and get started with our joke of the day. Alright, so a bear walks into a bar and tells the waiter, "I want a cheese pizza." Bartender says, "Sure, but what's with the pause?" And the bear says, "What do you mean pause? I'm a bear." Get it? Because the bear has paws, but the bear is also pausing as he speaks. Get it? Double entendre. Yep, Mr. Yoder's crazy. We already know that. Alright, before we jump into the reading, I want to take a look at the questions we're going to be answering. So I'm going to start at the very top. I'm just going to read through this. So, Article 2 questions. Today's fake news used to be called yellow journalism. I'm going to answer the following questions in complete sentences. Question number 1 is, what is fake news? I see that 1 in parentheses. So I know I'm going to find my answer in paragraph 1. Question number 2, what is yellow journalism? That will be in paragraph 4. Question number 3, what were Hearst and Pulitzer's New York newspapers battling for? That is also going to be in paragraph 4. Question number 4, what type of stories did Pulitzer and Hearst try to publish? That will be in paragraph 6 and 7. And then question 5, besides incorrect reporting, why do people say something is fake news? That will be in paragraph There are 2 additional questions on this worksheet. Those are bonus questions. Question number 6. What was the problem with yellow journalism during the Spanish-American War? And question number 7. Why do politicians like Mussolini say newspapers lie even when they are telling the truth? Alright, so now I know the questions that I'm going to be answering about this article. But there's one other thing that I need to do before I start reading any new text, and that is to identify the topic and the genre. I'm going to write those 2 words up here at the top. My topic and my genre. Alright, so the topic, as we already know, that is basically what an article or a story is about. So in order to do that, I'm going to read the title, I'm going to read who it's by, I'm also going to look for any pictures. And there is a picture in this one. Good. All right. So first, the title. Today's fake news used to be called yellow journalism. From that title, I get 2 very important terms. One is fake news, and the other is yellow journalism. So we talked a little bit about fake news in our last video, but yellow journalism, that's a new term. I know it's going to be important for me to know what that is. And since it's in the title, I know that the topic of this article is fake news and yellow journalism. All right, so my next step is to identify the genre of this text, meaning is it fiction or nonfiction? Fiction means that it's made up, nonfiction means that it really happened. And one thing I'm going to look at to help me identify the genre is who is this by? And I see right below the title, this is by the Public Domain Review. And I don't know what the Public Domain Review is. So here's what I can do anytime I want to learn more about an organization is I can go online and I can look them up. So I'm actually going to go into Google. I'm going to type the Public Domain Review. And I see there's their website right there, publicdomainreview.org. I'm going to click on it. And anytime I get to a website like this and I want to learn more about that website, I'm going to click on the About section. Most reputable websites will have an About section. I'm going to click on that. It says, founded in 2011, the Public Domain Review is an online journal and not-for-profit project dedicated to the exploration of curious and compelling works from the history of art, literature, and ideas. Okay, so that tells me this is an organization that writes interesting articles about history. And if they're writing articles about history, does that mean that it is real or made up? That tells me that it is real. History is something that is real. So I'm going to go back to my genre. I'm going to write genre is non-fiction, and specifically history. All right, so now I'm actually going to start reading the article. And right before I do that, I want to take a look at this picture right here. And I'm going to read the caption that goes along with it. All right, so what do I see in this picture? I see there are a bunch of guys running around. They're wearing hats. You know, they look like they're dressed up. They're all carrying these papers. One of them is carrying something that says fake news. This other guy is carrying a paper that says humbug news. Another guy is carrying a paper that says cheap sensation. So what is going on in this picture? I noticed something to do with fake news. And these guys are all running. So, like, what does that tell me about this article? My guess is that this is saying people who write fake news are in a hurry. They want to get that news out there. Or maybe not. I think the person who made this picture doesn't like people who spread fake news. I think that's a pretty safe assumption that I can make. And I'm also going to read the caption down here. Image 1. Detail from the Fin de Siècle newspaper proprietor. An illustration featured in an 1894 issue of Puck magazine. Amid the flurry of the eager paper-clutching public, one holds a publication with the words, "Fake News." Photo is from Frederick Burr Opper, Public Domain Review. So key information in here is that this is from 1894. Wow, that was about 126 years ago, quite old. So even back in 1894, people were worried about fake news. And this article itself, I realize I skipped over this. This was written on 11/12/19. That means November 12th, 2019. So it was written quite recently. All right. So now I'm going to jump into my reading. All right, and my very first question is, what is fake news? I know that that's going to be in paragraph number 1, so that's what I'm going to be looking for as I read. Fake news is a news story that presents untrue or unproven information. It reports as if that information were true. The term fake news comes up often today. It is not a new problem, though. So I'm going to pause right there because I know my answer for question number 1 was in that paragraph. All right, I'm going to continue reading. I'm going to read paragraphs 2 and 3. Robert Darnton is a historian. He wrote an article about the history of fake news. Fake news dates all the way back to ancient times, Darnton wrote. Examples can be found throughout history. Fake news is not new. Today, there is a great deal of public reaction to fake news. Many people are talking about it. The first example of this in history may have been in the late 1800s, Darnton says. This was when yellow journalism first began. It was about 130 years ago. All right, so I know my next question is coming up in paragraph number 4. That question is, what is yellow journalism? So as I read paragraph 4, I'm going to be looking for what is yellow journalism. So yellow journalism is reporting based on exaggeration. It features outrageous stories. They are not based on facts. Why was it called yellow? Some people think the name came from the yellow ink newspapers sometimes used. Others say it was named after a popular cartoon called The Yellow Kid. I'm going to pause right here because this is quite a long paragraph, and I think I may have already answered question number 2. And question number 3 is also in paragraph 4. Question 3 asks, what were Hearst and Pulitzer's New York newspapers battling for? So I'm going to look for that word battle since it's in quotes. The cartoon first ran in a paper called the New York World. This paper was owned by Joseph Pulitzer. Later, the cartoon ran in the New York Journal. William Randolph Hearst owned this paper. These two newspapers were in a battle. They wanted more readers. Their competition led to the rise of yellow journalism. The papers ran wilder and wilder stories to win readers. I'm going to pause right there and answer question number 3. All right, I'm going to continue. Paragraph number 5. Today, Joseph Pulitzer's name might make you think of the Pulitzer Prize. This prize is awarded for excellent journalism. Only stories with the best reporting can win. Pulitzer established this prize. He left money to fund it after he died. When he was alive, though, he was not known for great journalism. His reputation was very different, actually. All right, so I know that my next question, question number 4, will be in paragraphs 6 and 7. Question number 4 asks, what type of stories did Pulitzer and Hearst try to publish? So that's what I'm going to be looking for as I read paragraphs 6 and 7. Pulitzer purchased the New York World in 1884. He wanted to get more readers to buy the paper. So he started running catchy, wild stories. It worked. Pulitzer became known as the father of tabloid journalism. This style of journalism focuses on splashy headlines and dramatic content. It puts more importance on getting readers hooked than on reporting the facts. Soon, Pulitzer had a competitor. His name was William Randolph Hearst. Hearst bought the New York Journal in 1885. The two were rivals. They tried to outdo each other by running increasingly shocking stories. They would try to write even more sensational stories. I'm going to pause right here. You're going to answer question number 4. And now I'm going to continue with paragraph 8. Yellow journalism was at its worst in the lead-up to the Spanish-American War. Hearst's newspaper had a major influence on the conflict. It encouraged anti-Spanish feelings across the United States. Some people started calling the war the Journal's War. Both the Journal and the New York World published stories about the war that were full of unconfirmed claims. Many stories had errors. I'm going to pause right here because question number 5 asked me about question number 5 asked me about paragraph number 9. All right. And question number 5 asks, besides incorrect reporting, why do people say something is fake news? Today, the term fake news is used to describe incorrect reporting. Some people use the term another way, though. They may say a story is fake news when they just don't like it. They do not like what it says or how it makes them look. So I'm going to use that information to answer question number 5. All right, we're almost done. Paragraph number 10.
This is not new either. In the 1800s, people would sometimes say a story was yellow journalism. They did this because they did not like the way the story was told or what it said about them. One example was in Italy in 1925. Benito Mussolini was the leader of Italy at the time. Newspapers reported that he was ill. Mussolini denied it. He said the newspapers were lying. He claimed they just wanted more readers and more money. The stories were true. Mussolini really was ill. Still, he ruled the country for another 18 years.
All right, so that's it for today's lesson. I hope you guys found it enjoyable. Next week, I'm going to put up videos for articles 3 and 4. Both of those articles are going to give you tips that you can use to identify fake news on your own. So I'm really looking forward to those. All right, so hope you guys are taking care of yourselves. Text me, email me, call me if you have any questions. I know it's a little weird not going to school and doing this online learning, but hang in there, do your best, and know that myself and all the other teachers at City on the Hill, we've got your back. We're here to support you. So take care.